Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the live stream with a bit of a scare. In here, you will hear some very frightening tales. Some tales that might send a chill down your spine. I do warn you, should there be any viewers that are under 14, well, you are warned. You must be at least 14 or older. You- So, 14, so under 14 must clear this room before it's too late. What's going on, everybody? This your boy King. Yeah, he's great. What's going on? It's your boy King Gabe here, and it's a for the special Halloween treat here. And trust me, this ain't the only Halloween treat. Like I say, I did have a few. I started off with some kind of scary shorts there. Any of y'all that haven't seen them, y'all definitely should check them out there. Um, there was Shanice from my Yumiko series. I did the Mark Hamill Joker for the Vincent Price part in Thriller, and and then one of my Transformers that is a bit of a scare, Tarantulas. Yeah, probably should add Scarum on there, but could be. Yeah, I might do that later. So I got some more coming up, and also the announcement of Scooby Doo. So yeah, there's this. This is part. It's gonna be part one because there's quite a bit of scary tales, and I want to make sure I get them all there, but I don't want to, overdo it in one night there. Because I know there's been some past live streams where I've done something like this, like, hey, we're gonna tell my history here, like say my history at school or my history in acting or something like that. And it went on for a pretty long time. So yeah, we're trying not to overdo that there, especially it's being Saturday night because a lot of people got church in the morning there. Um, and not only in my case, it's not so much church. They got me working tomorrow morning, but still either way we'd have to get up in the morning. So um, yep, and also just so it won't just not overdo it in general. Yeah, so yeah, so like I said, this is gonna be. I don't usually do Adult Swim on my live stream. Usually, for the most part, my live streams usually are general audience there. For the most part, up to now. But yeah, I'm doing this one as Adult Swim because, like I say, this is there are some tales that will be told within because there's more than one tales I'm telling about that will be told in here that be a little kind of edgy. Like I say, might not necessarily saying that I'm gonna let me guess, he's gonna be swearing in here. Not necessarily that. So there's more than one reason why something might be for 14 and over or PG-13. So yeah, just saying, or in some cases PG. But yeah, in this case, I just decided to go to safe to be cautious and just because um, I know everybody's different when it comes to scary stuff. Yeah, it's not, and like I say, I do respect that there. Because like I say, I like some scary stuff myself, but to a certain extent, and it depends on what it is there. So yeah, yeah, that's why kind of made it that just to be on the safe side. So now that I've filled in on that there, let's go and get into the tales, the Halloween tales of King Gabe. Da-da-da. All that beat. all I need is a flash of light and then the flash over there. And you see, I got it. Yeah, because I got the ring light. Yeah, they're right over here. Oh, so yeah, it's over here on the side. Um, so yeah, to kind of make it, Halloween, scary like that. So yeah, like I say, yeah, let me know what y'all think about this setup. This is just for this particular topic that's it's scary, and also just this particular live stream in general. There, now we're not gonna do this when we review Scooby Doo. Now, yeah, we will have the lights on for that and the other videos. So this is just I'm just doing it for this one. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments or something like that. Well, y'all think this is pretty cool? Maybe I could, maybe in the future might have some other scary video like this. So, anywho, um, so and let me show y'all if I tried to do this in the complete dark, it would look like this. Oh no, it's dark in here. Oh. So yeah, now you know. Yeah, I ain't gonna go completely dark because then it'd be like, uh, where is he at? Where he go? So, all right. So anyway, um, gonna start way back. Probably the first Halloween scary tale. A lot of these involve nightmares I've had or something scary that's happened to me, and also my interactions with certain scary movies and stuff like, or scary stuff in certain TV series. There, it's a mix of them, but a lot of them come from the nightmares though that I've had up to now. So this was I had one. There was one dream I had. I was like real. I'm not really sure how young I was, but I know I was like I assume like 2 or 3, probably 2. And in the dream, my I was in the car with my parents, and we was in the car with they're driving and everything, and we come up kind of to this how you ever come to a railroad crossing. You ever come to some railroad crossings that you're on the road and all of a sudden it's the road goes up a little bit towards the track, and then once you cross it you go back down. And one I remember, there's 2 areas around here I remember right off the top of my head that are like that. There's one, anybody who's in the Shreveport area listening to this, there's one like right when you're on your way to the LB Road Kroger, kind of hilly there. Not too much, but it's a little bit of a hill. And then once you cross the track, it's like a dip. Then one, I'm not sure what the street is named, but it runs alongside Mansfield Road, kind of like coming away from Mansfield Kroger, where I work at. Like if you go down that little side road and keep going away from Mansfield Road, you come up to a railroad track, and it sort of has a little hill there. So anyway, so in the dream, we come up to this hill, and this what happened? There was a train came, so we had to stop, and we're waiting for the train, and suddenly the train stopped, and then for some reason my mom and dad got out the car and left and forgot to get me out. Like, wait, where y'all going? And I'm stuck in the car because, like I said, I'm like 2 or 3 years old. I'm stuck in the car. The doors are locked. There's probably the child lock there, and all of a sudden the train in front, right directly in front of the car, started leaning towards the car and started to fall. Like, and I'm like, ah! And then I woke up. I was like, ah! Ooh, I was this close to getting smashed there. Yep. And there was and there was another. Um, I think it also involved the train. There was yeah that one reason with the train ones. There was like when I was growing up, anywhere like between like three, like two, three, up to like kindergarten and stuff like that. There was now what I was in the Thomas the Tank Engine, and I did enjoy that show, but at the same time there was also news reports of real train wrecks. 'Cause my grandparents, they'd be watching the news a lot, and just so happened I was over there at the time, and yeah, that was the one thing that would catch my attention was all of a sudden these train wrecks and trains coming off the track, and it was quite it yeah, like I said, now I will say Thomas the Tank Engine has some kind of uh had quite a share of accidents there, like Henry and the Flying Kipper, for example. And then if you watch the recent, well, maybe not so recent now, but I think like one of the last CGI Thomas movies before they went to this other new series, and now they're trying to work on another Thomas series. But the CGI that came directly after the toy model series, um, the adventure begins where they have a CGI recreation of the first episodes of Thomas the Tank Engine, like packed into one movie. The part where they get to where James came off the rail, you actually got to see that. And for the CGI, that was I was like, oh God. I mean, 'cause I mean, his brake blocks were on fire. I mean, I'm coming off the rail. I'm coming. Oh, oh my God! And keep in mind, this is for the little preschool kids. Whoa! So yeah, that if you was watching, I mean, I was kind of like, ooh, and I'm 37 years old. So you imagine how a little preschool kid would react seeing that scene. So yeah, that was so yeah, like I say, so but yeah, the see, but when you see train wrecks in real life, though, yeah, it's a. I mean, as graphic as the fiction world gets, the real life can be can be pretty scary regardless. So there was that. And so now, so there was a train. Trying to remember it anymore. I think that was about the only. I mean, the only other train thing I can remember was just one just fell off the track. Yeah. Um. So now we go over to now some of y'all probably heard these stories. I'm about. There's probably some other stories that you may have heard in earlier videos, but yeah, this is all scary related. So Mr. Peanut. Everybody know, and if you don't know, I'm pretty sure most people know, or I bet you if I showed you this picture, you probably would know. At least you know the picture. You probably wouldn't know, him being called Mr. Peanut, but you would know this picture though. Yeah, Mr. Peanut there. Oh, yeah, so Mr. Peanut, he came in. I was looking at TV once. About like I say again, it's probably 2 years old because I think that's when this started as well, along with the other with any other dreams I might have had. I'm watching just what I'm just chilling, watching the TV. Commercial break comes on. First time I see Planners, Mr. Peanut. He's dancing and everything, and he did. I mean, 'cause even looking at him now, but I know, but of course, by the way, I anything, but like but even looking at him now, yeah, that old, especially the old pictures. I mean, he looked. They got new pictures of him out now that it's still the same. It looks a little different. But looking at that old picture of him, yeah, even there, I think what was creepy about him was like the monocle or something. I don't know. It just something was just creepy about him. But what freaked me out, yeah, he did look kind of creepy, especially back then. But what freaked me out was when he started doing the dancing and he would get close to the TV with his dancing, so close to the point that in my mind back then, I'm thinking he's coming out the TV. And I took off running. Ah! And I was like, oh, what was that? He's coming out the TV. He's coming out the TV. He's coming out the TV. I almost sounds like like Sean when he said, "They're shooting! They're shooting! They're shooting!" So yeah, so that was so Mr. Yeah, I thought he came in the house. Then of course, it then went to another commercial, and he's not on the team anymore. But then, at some I don't know if it was that night or night after that, but at some point after seeing that commercial, I then had this dream. So I'm just chilling, I'm asleep, and all of a sudden I wake up to some noise, and all of a sudden it sounded like the door opened and closed, like so, like that. Like, oh, it was the front door, by the way. Then all of a sudden, I hear footsteps coming down the hall toward where my room is at, and with those footsteps, I hear this little music. Do 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 do. And as the music, I'm gonna turn this light on here. Yeah, I I call myself was trying to do the whole dark, scary thing, but yeah, I need to keep this light on. Yeah, this show. Mhm. Yeah, I might still do that for a future video. Like I really mean for it to look that way, but for my live streams, yeah, I'm just gonna keep it this way. Yeah, so y'all can see me. So, anywho, yeah, I wasn't feeling it. So I'm hearing the footsteps and the music, do do, and my door, and the thing was, my bedroom door was open, wide open. So I'm standing there, not saying, not making a sound. Had the covers over, and there he was, just like he looked in the commercial, just like the way in that picture I showed you, coming, walking past my room, and like this, with that music, do 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 do, and I waited, and for some reason, it's the bathroom light came on, and then heard the toilet flush. Don't I guess he used the bathroom. I don't ask me how. He used the bathroom. Heard like the sink running, washing his hands. Light turns off. Then walks right back by my room door. And he goes back out that front door, closes it back. Like this. I waited a while. And then just as I went, he popped up. Ah! He popped back up. Popped right back up my room. Gotcha. Ah! And then I'm screaming. He's dancing all over the room. And I woke up screaming. Mom goes like, "I was right there. He's in the room. Mama, he's in the room." Ah! So, yeah. And just imagine. Could you imagine if that was if that dream was a Planters peanut commercial? All of a sudden he pops up, and then you fade out from me doing all the screaming to the can of peanuts. Yeah, that's a way to advertise your product. Scaring the living daylights out of a 2-year old. The kids. That's how you sell your peanuts, by scaring the living daylights out of a 2-year old. So, so that was a major scare. Oof. Ooh, I kind of scared myself doing that. so that was one nightmare, and then there was another one. I was at school, and I was at school, and so I think this is when I was like three or four, probably three, because like I say, it was preschool. And when what I remember at the beginning of it, we it was snack time, and the teacher pulled out snack, and the snack was Planter's cheese balls, meaning that Mr. Peanut's picture was on the canister. Oh dear. Now I'm not completely sure if that part was real, like like we actually like this was an actual day at school. But what I do remember, real or not, the nightmare part that I know for sure, for some reason, we was standing outside, almost like like when you like like you tell the kids, yeah, hey, everybody line up and everything. But the thing was, we were all up against the wall and just standing there waiting. And suddenly, the teacher is nowhere around. And instead of the teacher showing up at some point, Mr. Peanut shows up, walking past all of us. And and then he walks by again. And oh my goodness. Uh, and I'm not completely sure what happened before I woke up out of that one. But if I had to guess, he probably I'm assuming at some point he probably did the same thing he did in the bed that when I was, terrified in the bedroom. So, oh my goodness. That that part right there is kind of reminding me of something, but I'm gonna get to that part. But what it's reminding me of, it's reminding me of something from SpongeBob there. So, oh, oh boy. So anyway, so there was that dream with the cheese balls and stuff. The I think there was a few other encounters I've had with him. The only thing I just remember was he's there, I scream and run. Either I run from seeing him on the TV, or I wake up and like nightmare, Mr. Peter was going to get me. So, but one other particular, I think this is the other one that I can remember with Mr. Peanut. And yeah, at some point, yeah, obviously I did get over that there. Because otherwise, if I didn't, well, if I didn't get over that, then and I'd probably take off running right during this live stream. So anywho, so another time. So another time, another dream. Anybody who any of my if and you might and there's and like I say, I'm not gonna because I know sometimes people, especially like the youngins and stuff, a lot of them will sometimes hear about a lot of this old stuff like from the 90s and 80s, because you got the streaming and also stuff gets uploaded on YouTube. So yeah, I mean so yeah, you might even some of the youngsters might have heard about this if they ran across it, but probably didn't know where it came from though. But they probably seen it because I mean there's a lot of stuff that's older than me that I know about because of my parents or my grandparents. So that's what, yeah, like I said, we didn't have Netflix and all that back then, but we had parents, we had grandparents. And see now, a lot of people like me are the parents teaching the kids from the 90s and 80s, and in some cases 70s. So, anyway, so anybody ever heard of the California raisins? I say, regardless of what your age is, if you the singing, the raisin. Oh yes, I heard it through the grapevine, raising the California sunshine. So in this dream, it started off. I was the California raisins came to my house and were performing, and I was like, whoa, California raisins! I was jamming with them and everything, like, and I think I'm like three, like. Yeah, I heard it through the grapevine, and I'm just about to lose my mind. Honey, honey, yeah. And it was like we was just go, we was dancing and singing and everything, the AC bebop stretching red. Oh man, yeah. And they actually, if y'all look up on YouTube, they do. There's two. I don't know. They had an animated series too, that I heard about. I never did get to see the animated series, but I only thing I remember from them was the claymation episodes because I had one of the VHSs of it, which was sold out. No, literally, it was California Raisins Sold Out. That's what the title of the VHS was, and they had one, and it's actually the sequel to Meet the Raisins, which was sort of a parody of a documentary there. So like they do, sort of like what they did with the Spice Girls with the Spice World movie. So yeah, you had so yeah, definitely check those out. They got them on YouTube there. You just look them up there. I've watched them. I've rewatched them a few times there. Um, so what happened? So after all the singing and the jamming and the jiving and everything, um, we get to I guess I don't know how much time passed in the dream, but um, I guess the day had passed because I was waking up and went into the kitchen for breakfast. And for some reason, I saw the raisins sitting on, like, some of them were sitting on the washer and the dryer, and I think the washer dryer and then some were sitting on the table, and they were painted yellow and looking like they wasn't feeling good. They're like, and I was like, wait, what happened to you guys there? They couldn't even hardly speak there. I mean, it was I don't know what was going on with them. And I sat down for a minute on the chair. Suddenly, I felt that chair go up. I looked over very slowly, and when I looked down, it was Mr. Peanut. Ah! And I have never heard him speak on the commercials. Now maybe he might have, and maybe I missed this commercial, but on the commercial that I seen, I never heard Mr. Peanut speak. If you seen one where he spoke, let me know. But yeah, but I've never heard him speak. But in this nightmare, he spoke. This was the only one I remember he even said anything. Well, actually, no, I take it back. He said "gotcha" in the first one. So okay, so I kind of brushed by, but he said "gotcha." But he spoke in a way that actually got his voice a little more clearer with the meter. That's it. Yeah, a full sentence with the meter. I went from say what, and I'm not completely sure what happened after that before I woke up, but I do know I had went from being scared to angry. What? That's the only thing I remember before waking up was just I was angry. Yeah. So that was a debacle with Mr. Peanut. And I remember one of the times I ran out the room screaming, seeing his commercial. My mom brought me back in the room. Uh, which at the time, like the Planet Peanut commercial, made me run out the room. By the time my mom got me calmed down and brought me back in the room, a Darkwing Duck commercial was on. Darkwing Duck, when there's trouble, you call DW. So I kind of looking back on that, I kind of imagine. Could you imagine if Darkwing Duck faced Mr. Peanut? I am the terror that flaps in the night. I am the, I am the pity and the pity lover of depravity. I am Darkwing Duck. Is that supposed to mean something? It means that I'm going to make you pay for terrorizing this small child, you peanut. Oh, I guess I'm supposed to be scared of you now. You should be scared, villain. Yeah, just imagine that back and forth there. Jim Cuttings and the Peanut. Yeah, and I do know there's also was a Power Ranger story I made up. Like what if? Because I imagined myself as Billy in the episode. You know how Billy was scared of fish, but I was like, well, what if me in the place of Billy if it was Mr. Peanut? But I do have that bit that but yeah, I'm not gonna go through that because that I already got I know for a fact I got that video specifically up on YouTube, so definitely check that out. What if Mr. Peanut fought the Power Rangers? It's here on YouTube, so check it out on the channel. So anyway, moving on. Another. So I'm getting older. Trying to think. No. Let's see. Okay, Mr. Peanut. That was kind of the biggest of one of my nightmares. Moving up a little bit, I remember there was this one nightmare I had. Because sometimes my mom's a school teacher. Was well, she retired now, but back when she was still teaching, and I was still a little kid, there were some times that I've been up to her school. Been up there quite a few times there. Um, so there was this one time. It was another nightmare, and it's actually referenced in the first Yumiko book. Definitely check that out. There was a that I was looking around the school. I'm looking for my mom. I for some reason I got lost, and I'm looking around, and I come to this janitor. There was a janitor. His back was turned, and so his back turned. I'm like, excuse me, sir. Um, can you tell me where my mom is? And he turns around. And he in his okay, just picture this. Where his eyes should be, in the place of his eyes, he did not have any eyes. They were empty sockets with teeth in them. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So it's almost like he got three mouths. And if you read the first of my Yumiko books, it explains that the zombies that chased after Hiko and Samuel and Naomi, that's the way the zombies look. So now this is where I got that idea from of zombies with teeth where their eyes should be. So yeah. Also, the zombies were the way they sort of acted and stuff is also a reference to the zombies in a computer game I used to play. I don't know if it's still around, but a computer game called Spooky Castle. But I just made them even more creepier with teeth eyes. So like ah, yeah. So yeah. Now this is why I made this Adult Swim because now of course I did put that in the book, but yeah. Anyway, there's some other stuff coming up now. So now then there's another dream I remember, a nightmare I remember. I was still in elementary. This oh yeah, there were some nightmares I had that took place in the church. Yeah, it just happened this way. One was involving our pastor we had back then, when pastor back at our old church in New Bethlehem, Pastor G.W. Odom. And in the nightmare, he's it starts off, just like a regular Sunday. He's up preaching a sermon and everything, and suddenly, he always I'm not kidding with this. He in reality he always mentioned about like because he was kind of up in age, and a lot of time he would ramble before and after his sermons. That's why a lot of time it kind of would be the service would be kind of long, not too long, but it'd be a little longer whenever he was whenever he had to preach. And like I say, he was up in age, and I heard from a comedian one, a gospel comedian, about the preacher's disease, because they be wanting to say a whole lot. I got that preacher's disease. Hey, oh, last thing I say, I'm closing. Well, last thing I say, I'm closing. One more thing and I'm closing. But okay. Look, I got to go. This preacher's a little too long winded today. So, okay. So anyway, so he's kind of he's one of those. He's one of those types there. God bless his heart. God rest his soul. Um, but in the nightmare, he's doing his sermon, and just like in reality, he would always talk when he rambled. One of the things I remember him always talking about was the Booger Man, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you that grew up with me, and some of you may have heard it from people that grew up that around my age, probably I'm talking to my young bucks here. Y'all probably may have heard about it from other sources about the Booger Man. So it might because who knows? I think some people may be still talking about it now. But anyway, he always said the Booger Man. So I think when he was mentioning it, looking back on that, I didn't. Yeah, I just remember him talking about the Booger Man. But looking back on it, I'm assuming that it probably because a lot of time preachers will use or in preachers and even just speakers in general will use examples to explain what they be talking about. Especially preachers like ones I heard talking about how the devil be having all of us Christians in his mouth, and God tells them, Satan, drop them, like the way Mufasa told Scar to drop Zazu. And then like Pastor Rice, he used the example about the genie from Aladdin there, and even had pictures on the screen as he was talking there. So, about phenomenal cosmic power, itty bitty space. So a lot of time Pastor Owen was probably doing something like what a lot of other preachers in general would do, give examples and stuff. Same way Jesus gave parables to explain what he was talking about. So it's nothing new under the sun. But anyway, so he always talked about the Booger Man a lot. So in the nightmare, while he was preaching his sermon, I literally saw the Booger Man. Cause he looked kind of green like and everything. So the Booger Man comes out right behind him in the pulpit and jumps into Pastor Owen's back, and suddenly he's possessed by the Booger Man and starts throwing and just starts spinning around the pulpit, throwing out Booger Man t-shirts, and everyone that those shirts landed on, I was the only one that didn't hit, but everyone else that got hit that these shirts landed on, suddenly in the congregation they got up and came after me. Ah! And I got the whole congregation coming after me there. Get him. So, oh boy. I remember I was telling this to my former nursery. I know she done graduated from high school now, but little Nisha used to be in the nursery. I remember telling her and her sister about this there, and yeah, but I think it was that they was helping me out at a book signing. I think in 20. I want to say 2018. I think it was 2018, 2019. Sorry. Uh, yeah, I think it was. Yeah, the 20. Think so. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, 2019. Yeah, right before. 2019. Yeah, they was. I want to say 2019. Yeah, 2019. So anyway, yeah, they were helping me out with a book signing there of my last Star Striker book and everything, and they and I was telling them some of these tales, and Nisha's like, "What is it with everything or somebody trying to kill you in your nightmares?" I have no idea. So I was like, why everybody trying to kill you? So, well, that's the whole. Well, that's one reason why it's a nightmare. It ain't a nightmare. Ain't nothing good. uh, and it's scary. So so there was that. There I remember another there was okay, so another nightmare that also took place in the church uh was all of a sudden there was a skeleton coming after me. And now nobody else was in the church in this nightmare. It was just me and I think a friend of mine, one of my old friends from back then. So so we're in the church, and I had this lunchbox that had some broken straps on it. You know, like the straps you hold up your lunchbox with, because it was like one of them Velcro straps or something like that. But it was but it had broken, so I had to hold it by the box. But suddenly, the little broken strand started going around and around and glowing, and that's when the skeleton showed up. And I run, and that's when I noticed he showed up when they were doing that. So me and my friend were hiding in my Sunday school teacher's classroom that where my primary Sunday school teacher, and we're hiding in that room trying hoping that the skeleton leaves. Suddenly, I mean, I noticed the strap started to go around, and I was like, "Oh no, 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 no! Stop! Don't do it!" And they still, and next thing you know, the skeleton. Hello, boys. Ah! And yeah, and that's what I remember of that there. Ooh, that was scary. Skeleton. So there was that, and oh boy, I just think there was something. Let's see, I think anything else. There was peanut skeleton. First, there's I guess probably some of y'all might be wondering, did Skeletor ever show up? I am Skeletor, Overlord of Evil. All I need, well, if Skeletor shows up, I think we just call He-Man. I have the power. So yeah, so there was that there. Let's see. I think there was I know some of the scariest stories I've. Oh yeah, um, something my. It's not really a big story, but there was something my big papa always liked to do when we came over for Sunday dinner back in the day. He really liked he would he and there's other movies he liked. He likes action movies, mystery a little bit. I actually found out that he likes Star Trek, which I guess that's not too surprising. I mean, action. I mean, yeah, Star Trek will kind of fit in there. But yeah, he liked those kind of movies, and he also liked different certain scary movies. One of the scary movies he really liked, I think he liked Freddy Krueger, but he also liked Chucky. You know, he's Chucky. So yeah, so when we come over for Sunday dinner, there was some times Big Papa would turn around to me and my cousins and be like, "Here's Chucky." just to sort of give us a little scare. A boo. So there was that. Oh yes, there was a story that me and some kids got told that there was a storyteller once at the library back they still in elementary, and the story was, so there was a guy. There was a guy. He was, I think he was working on the train. This sort of reminds me of Henry and the Flying Kipper from Thomas the Tank Engine. And I'll tell you why. Because this guy was actually, I think he was riding in it was an abandoned train, and he was in the caboose of it. He was just chilling, like he's in the caboose and it's just chilling everything on the track. And suddenly, I'm not sure if he went to sleep or something in the caboose, which that's probably a bad idea. But I don't know if he was asleep or maybe he just couldn't get out in time. But at some point, a train came on that same track, and it didn't see the caboose until it was nighttime. And suddenly, that train crashed into the caboose, and it's a little graphic. The cow, because it was a steam locomotive. So the little front cow catcher part of that train went into the caboose and right and cut into that guy's neck, cutting his head off. And and then the storyteller told us, and now if you kids ever go out in the woods and suddenly you see some guy walking with a lantern and he ain't got no head, run! Because if you don't, he will come towards you and try to take your head off. So the headless man. I was, ooh, now that was a scary story that we were told back then in the library, elementary. Ooh, you just picked, yeah. Well, I know some of us are going to have some nightmares tonight. So, yeah, so there was that story that was told to us once. And let's see. Then let's see. We got okay. So that was that story. So go up a little bit further. Um, I know I've seen some scary. I know I've seen some scary stories. One scary. Obviously Goosebumps. Yeah, I've definitely seen some Goosebumps. Some of the scariest stories. Would be they got it on Netflix. Any of y'all got Netflix? Y'all should definitely check out the Goosebumps series. Um, the Haunted Mass is definitely a must see. Is I think it's if I'm not mistaken, I think it's the first episode of the Goosebumps series. But the Haunted Mass, and then there's a sequel episode, the Haunted Mass 2. So yeah, both really scary stories there. The thing was, if you put the mask on 3 times, after the third time, it stays stuck to your face. Yeah. And so I'll let y'all I ain't gonna now you're like, well, how would you get it off, Gabe? Y'all gotta check it out to see. So yeah, go check it out and you'll find out how they get out of that. Yeah. So yeah, seen that. There was a story trapped in the basement involving a scientist that was involved with plants. And then I've read some of the books, like Monster Blood. There, yeah, this was in our elementary school library. Monster Blood. It was a sequel to that. Slappy, the trademark dummy of the Goosebumps series, pretty much like Goosebumps version of Chucky. He's Slappy. It's Slappy, and then you got who else was there? There was oh yeah, and one the Scarecrow that walks at midnight. Uh, uh, Guy who was it was a grown man, by the way, living with his parents. And I'm not harping on anybody, any adult that's with their parents. I'm not trying to say anything down about that. I'm just stating that's what that's what it was. But so he's lived with his parents. But the thing about him that was real odd, he um he didn't like the scary stories his parents would tell. Now, of course, yeah, you do have some people that's not into horror. That's fine. But he took it a little bit extreme there. He rather than like, well, I don't really like these scary stories, and they kind of work something out. Now he decided he's gonna get a spell book to bring some scarecrows to life, and then like, hey, mom and dad, I can bring scarecrows to life. So stop telling these scary stories and do everything my way, or I'll sick these scarecrows on you. Dude, that's pretty messed up there. Okay, so you're gonna threaten your parent. You're a grown man, again, like I say, not saying anything against other adults that live with their parents, but any adult who does any grown person that does live with their parents still, please don't go getting spell books to bring scarecrows to life just to get your way. That is a major no. So yeah, yeah, try stomaching that there. So Scarecrow walked at midnight, and my Harry, the ghost next door. Now, granted, some of them weren't completely like scary, but they did have some chilling stories though. Even if like I say, even if it wasn't like Terra, it would have some chilling stories. Like the ghost next door. Girl finds out she's actually a ghost, which actually now some of these the book was actually better than the TV episode, and in some cases the TV episode was better. Just all depends on your opinion of the story. In my opinion, the Ghost Next Door was a lot better in the book. Uh, in the so I'm trying to think. In the thing, oh yeah, there's another. Oh yeah, the Scarecrow Walks at Midnight. I think that was better done with the. Well, actually, I saw a little bit of that on TV, but um, I remember it more so from the book. What I do remember, it'll be a nice reread. But there was there was some others like some werewolf ones. Man, oh, and I got some likes in here. Who I got coming in here? What's going on, EJ? When you screaming like Shaggy? Oh man. Nah, you missed earlier when I had this when I was like that. Ah yeah, yeah, sweets. Oh yeah. But yeah, I definitely like some of the werewolf goosebump stories. Yeah, it was yeah, like especially the one where these two kids actually became like half werewolf and were stuck that way. And their grandpa had to do something to get them back to normal. I I don't think that I think that story did not have a good ending there, and it actually does not have a TV episode. You have to get the book for that story. Full Moon Fever. So, ooh, yeah, they say some stories didn't have a happy ending. Mm. So, yeah, there were those. Yeah, definitely check those out there. So let's see. So, boop. Yep. So, let's see. Yeah, those are some of the stories I can. Oh, remember? Are You Afraid of Dark? Are You Afraid of Dark? They had some. I don't know if they had books or anything, but they had some really scary stories. And again, if they weren't like Terra, they gave you some chills. One I just remember was a boy who was seeing this girl, and oh yeah, yeah. But there was one episode of a boy who was seeing a girl. They were both in high school, and he thought, and turns out found out that the girl he was dating was dead, and this was her ghost. But then later he finds out both him and the girl are ghosts. Whoa. Yeah, I think that's probably a more shocker than Power Rangers Overdrive when the Red Ranger Mac found out he was an android. Dad, why is my head on the table? So, yeah. So there so yeah, you had chillers like that. There was another chiller in that series about a guy. He started off as a teenager, but something kept making him younger and go back. and he had to find the clock, because if he didn't find the clock and stop his reverse aging and go back to normal, he would not exist. Yeah, now that's a scary thought there. And another one about a girl who turned into a chameleon, because I think she had a pet chameleon. Somehow, somehow the chameleon, I think it had something to do with the water, but some kind of way the girl became a chameleon, and the chameleon became the girl, and they would, so it was like, the chameleon who became the girl was trying to get rid of the girl who was a chameleon. They had to, and yeah, that was like, oh my gosh, yeah. Mm. So that, and also this another episode that actually got reference in That's So Raven, a boy who had stole something, and I think it was he stole something, and I think it was like a clown or something like that. And when he got home with it, like, he was trying to hide it and stuff like that. Suddenly, you know how we had that guilty conscience. I think whatever was he stole, or the clown or whatever, kept haunting him. And I mean, it was just terrible. And they referenced this in That's So Raven with Corey. Um, it was something he stole there that was haunting him. It's a monkey. It was a monkey he stole. The little toy monkey. Monkey thief. Monkey thief. So they referenced that, and yeah, I remember there was that. And I just remember another Goosebumps episode that ended up, this episode, and it's actually scarier than what would become of it. You okay? Remember the movie Click with Adam Sandler? Meant for comedy, a comedy drama, but it did have a chilling thought in the movie that was like, ooh, I wasn't expecting that. But did you know that movie Click was actually an episode of Goosebumps once? And even though the Click movie with Adam Sandler is PG-13, the Goosebumps episode, what, not saying that Adam Sandler's movie was bad. I enjoy that movie, but the Goosebumps episode was major scary compared to the movie, because it was a little boy. He was kind of, I think he was sort of a jerk there, and he ordered this remote, and he was playing around with it, and turns out this remote, much like the movie Click, had the power to control the universe. But this, but it was a lot more powerful than the one in the one with Adam Sandler. It was doing some things. It was almost, it was almost affecting this boy, almost like the Black Suit Spider-Man, making him even more aggressive and more of a jerk. And the more he kept using it, there was this warning. There was this, whoever he got it from was like, "You need to stop. I'm warning you." And the last time he used it, he ended up. I I think from what I remember, I think this may be how it ended. He was trapped in a void. I warned you. You're like, whoa, okay, that's creepy. And and also say cheese and die. You take a picture, and the picture of your family becomes skeletons. Yikes! Uh, Now, this Goosebumps episode might be why some people don't like having their picture taken. Because yeah, you got, like to say, I'm not trying to insult anybody like that, but I do know some people just don't like having their picture taken. But you do have some people that are actually terrified of the camera, and some of them superstitious. Yeah, so yeah, you got that. Yeah, so yeah, this movie scenes like that might be why. You never know. So um and now I do, and I remember also a book I read. This wasn't Goosebumps, by the way, but this was a book, and it wasn't really meant to be scary. It wasn't intended to be scary, but it has. If you think of this concept, it would probably scare you. So a boy who loves chocolate, and he's kind of greedy. The chocolate touch. He's kind of greedy and everything, and he, always wanting chocolate. No, not yeah, like I say, wants to eat nothing but chocolate, almost like Angelica wanting cookies in the Rugrats. And so he goes to the store, and this guy sells him. He said this is gonna be the best chocolate you've ever had. He buys it, and when he opens up the box, it's like a big box. So he's thinking like there's gonna be a lot of chocolate in here, and it's just one little piece. He eats the piece like I'm wasting my daggone money. But then after that one piece, everything he touched became chocolate. He went to brush his teeth. The toothpaste and the toothbrush became chocolate. Oh boy. So you think like, oh, that don't sound so bad. I get a lot of chocolate. It's like the Midas touch, except with his case, the stuff turned to gold. Think about this for a second. He went to his mother. His mother, because his mother was, I think she had broke down about something. She was crying. And, he just goes to kiss his mother on the cheek, like, hey, everything's going to be all right, Mom. But that kiss on the cheek turned his mom's head into chocolate. Oh my God. Now that, like I said again, this book was what they didn't intend for it to be scary, but yeah, you just think you go to kiss your mom and she turns to chocolate. Or like I say, the chocolate touch, you go to hug somebody and they're chocolate. Man, I I probably be lost my mind there. I'd be like, ah, like, oh man. Mm. So yeah, there was that there. And there was another scary book I read in school. About a school teacher. Um, I'm not completely sure what the title of it was, but if I'm going when I tell you this story, some of y'all might be able to catch on to what the title probably was. Oh, my teacher's an alien. That's what it is. My teacher is an alien. Kid that actually caught his teacher pulling off his human mask, revealing his alien head underneath. He's an alien. So yeah, that was that. And yeah, I guess they had let's see, I think yeah, my teacher's an alien. Oh boy. Yeah, it was quite some scary stuff. Um so I think I'm gonna so there's some other scary tales, but I think I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna come back to you guys tomorrow there. Like I said, I didn't want to make this video too long there. So yeah, we're gonna come back tomorrow for more scary stuff. Tomorrow night. It should be around the same time that I started tonight there. Yep, between 8 and 9, so yep, like I say, be back here tomorrow. We'll have part two. I think a lot of the stories are probably gonna there might be a few elementary stories that might come to my mind, but I think I'm going to be getting with the middle school and possibly on up in high school and adult life there. So yeah, so come back. So tomorrow, part two of Halloween Tales from King Gabe. If you like this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe with all your friends. And definitely get our available books. And definitely support us on the Patreon. Please do that. And just like Iceman Universe does, and check out his stuff by supporting him. And support the Miracle Crew. Yes, King Gabe, Big Sis Casey, Queen Tina, and EJ the Supreme. And just like, okay, I'm not going to cut my voice. And just like you hang out with us in the live streams, also hang out with us on Discord and Facebook. And we can sell you some stuff on that Carry app. And yep, without further ado, we will see y'all tomorrow night. Part two of more Halloween Tales. Take care, everybody. Peace out. And oh, ooh.